and I let them fly. I am not shy. I will not
I
leave
have
the
not. I
room
haven't held in a fart since 2006. Okay, it's the
holding
last
it
one.
in
I
for
remember it,
losers.
and I will not do it again. I won't. No one's worth that. Not the president. No one. That's a T-Bone promise.
Two dads in a jazz, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads in a jazz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads in a jazz, talking Green Bay Packers football. We gonna break it all down, probably need out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Most of the gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air conditioner, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads in a jazz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads in a jazz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides them rings and putting trophies on the wall. Trophies, y'all. Two dads in a jazz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
Oh, hey there, hi there, ho there, ladies and gents. And I want to give a big welcome.
God damn it.
To all. Welcome to Two Dads at a Chess Pod, the Green Bay Packer pod with the dad bod. First and foremost, once the lead singer for a reggae Limp Bizkit cover band known as Namanuki. Let's hear it for Tyson.
Hey, thanks everybody. I am so glad to finally be back with this off-season much needed update. I'm sure you're all sitting at home with watching your phone, seeing this thing unfold and being like, what the hell do two dads in the Chaz think about this? I gotta know. And I can't keep going on not knowing. So guess what, folks? The wait is over. You're gonna get to know what's on these four foolish, arrogant minds. And we're gonna let her rip. And we're gonna be able to see if this is valuable content as we move down the road. And this is important benchmarking time. I want to stamp it and see where we're at. And I'm so happy to have you all back.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Trending big in this week's Twitter for having the largest D this side of the Mason-Dixon line. Oh, long dong himself. How you doing, Ty?
Dads, Chaz, 2D and a C Nation, Packer fans worldwide. I am excited to bring you this pod. This is exciting. We're all way rusty and out of form, but we are just, there was too much going on. We have to talk about what's going on. Free agency has started up. Aaron Rodgers is packing his things as we speak. As we stand right now, just for context, Aaron Rodgers is not yet a Jet, but super bad wants to be one, or retired, or anything other than a Packer. And he's packed his boxes. He's ready to go, but we're not letting him go until we've received compensation. So we're not quite at that point where things have happened, but things are happening, and we got to talk about it. So we'll break it down for everybody tonight.
Absolutely, we will. Absolutely, we will. And of course, our group wouldn't be complete without a plunky, one-lining sidekick boy wonder coming from a MAGA meeting near you, the Porcelain Prince, Aaron Mayhew.
Chaz, your voice has never sounded sweeter than it did just now. And boys, I'm looking at all these faces. I could not be happier than to be back together with this group, launching yet another year of the strongest podcast, Pack-related, on the market. Our fans know it's true. Okay. What I do know right now, boys, is that it's complicated times. It's complicated. And it's dividing people, which I think is like the worst case. Now, this podcast, we have views, and they are aggressive at times. But I think by the end of this episode, what I want to lay out there is to let fans know that we come from every perspective. And we're just here to deliver facts that we know, because we deep dive on this team hard. And I hope that by the end, everybody can at least leave with a little bit of understanding, okay? Because it's not easy, but we're going to shoot you straight. So right out of the gate here, I actually want to lay a little bit of a foundation here, because everyone wants to to dive directly into Aaron Rodgers, but it's not that simple. Like Aaron Rodgers has come to where he is at this point because of countless factors along the way. And I think Tyson,
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about here. We're relating to the front office and just like, even like the past like 10, 15 years. And I think you have a better idea of like what exactly all the factors. Go ahead and lay it out for us.
All right, guys. Aaron Rodgers is not only the disease, but a symptom of the disease. So what we've got is a poor collaboration of maybe some people that didn't see eye to eye and had a little too much working together to come up with something that nobody really wants. So when you have too many collaborative voices, it's hard to get where you're going. That's what I feel has happened with the Packers. Going back, well, let's go to LaFleur, right? From when we got LaFleur on the Packers, right? From that moment, we are from that moment when we first got got LaFleur, it seemed like we were in a position where we do this still? Is this still a thing?
I wouldn't try it. Not today, baby. I wouldn't try it.
We're live.
You know it, baby.
Mayhew, tell me what happened, because I think what happened is that we got LaFleur, who agreed to take the job, even though it meant you don't get to choose your defensive coordinator. You don't get to choose a lot. You just get to be the head coach. And this guy's your boss, and this guy's your boss, but in different ways. And this guy decides the money. And then we have another general manager over here. He decides the talent. But then we have a president of the company, Mark Murphy, and his job is to decide who the general manager and the coach is. So you have all these people that are in charge of each other, but none of them are truly in charge of the team. And they seem to want different things and are scratching each other's back differently. So Aaron Rodgers, though he is not a perfect quarterback, as we've gone over in terms of his locker room leadership style, even though that's the way we've ended up, he's also been witness to a handful of change of regimes on different levels, and witness how the current administration chooses to handle these things. And that all affects the level of disgruntledness that he acquired over time. So to understand that where we got is because we had a coach that was willing to work with a defensive coordinator he didn't necessarily want, and walked into this situation where a quarterback was like, yeah, I have a guy I consider not so bright in Mike McCarthy, a dumb toe of a man. And then I got this smart football genius over here, Matt LaFleur. And I think that we can make this work. And the fact that he can't command a room at all, and definitely does not have the personality of a football head coach that you're used to. Rodgers thought he could work around that. He can make this work. And as you know how it pans out. Let's fast forward to hiring Joe Barry, which was his first real decision to do. Oh, yeah. Everyone knows he's the worst. He also was willing to let Matt LaFleur call plays to the point that it kind of made our defense look inept. And I don't know who's in charge and what the situation is, but you got two spineless dudes, as far as I can tell. You have two guys that are willing to put themselves out there, say, I don't know, the buck stops with me, and blame themselves for a whole bunch of things. And I'm seeing there's a lot of people to blame here.
Tyson, I can clarify a few things for you. For the last 18 years, one person has been in charge, and his name is Aaron Rodgers.
We're not there yet.
No, but it's true. No, but that
it is. It is. Everybody's looking at everybody else, like who has the authority around here, and it's been number 12. You got to clear everything with him.
To be clear, I said he is the disease and the symptom of the disease, and that is the Packers' strategy of when you become a quarterback that we deem is worth a contract and someone that we feel like we can win with, we anoint you God of football. and we completely blow your head up with all this nonsense about how you're the greatest to ever touch the football, the greatest thrower. No one loves the game more. No one does. We create a monster. And then when the person outgrows the tiny little community that created them, we then blame him for being a monster. We created this ego, folks. It wasn't like it's entirely Rodgers just did this on his own. This was how he survived and advanced our team and thought he needed to make us win. Whether that's good or bad or whatever, the situation is still, we have had a lot of bumpy roads in the 5 years that LaFleur has been our coach. And it's only been 5 years. It's been 5 years, I should say. And it feels like it was just a couple of years ago that he was hired. But it's been 5 whole years. Just to put that in perspective, Mike Holmgren was our coach for 5 years. And he got us 2 Super Bowls. He took us out of the fucking toilet dump, out of the sewer, and brought us up to where we are today. That's a leader. Aaron, you remember Mike Holmgren?
Yeah. I think he literally, you're right. He pulled us out of the ashes, like franchise wise, and got us that first Super Bowl. And literally was the only person I think could corral Brett Favre at that point. It was like turning him into a superstar. And then we pissed him off. Didn't give him what he wanted. He moved on, and like we wasted years.
Yeah.
With Brett
and there's a whole show that we could dedicate just to honoring and breaking down Mike Holmgren, because that guy is our foundation. My relative understanding of our foundation of greatness before we go to the 60s era's Packers, and then there's that big gap. I believed in what he did, and the people that worked under his staff, the success that they had afterwards. It's remarkable how many the great group of people they put together in this short amount of time, and the long-term effects of that decision. That being said, we're dealing with modern day situations,
Which,
like you said,
call for modern day solutions.
That's right. And I mean, I think that we all know where we're at. As it stands right now, it is St. Patty's Day. And
Quite it is.
Yeah. Fast forwarding to today, we're in a position where it feels like, from what we understand, the deal is done. Rodgers is going to be going to the Jets. As Ty said, he's totally a wannabe Jet right now. He wants to be one. He's not quite one. We are trying to get our proper compensation for a Hall of Fame first ballot quarterback who has great value. And it is not completely done, but pretty much done. Okay. Just in case whenever this gets edited and put in, we'll just know where we're at right now in this moment. The situation is, once we drafted Jordan Love, it seems like some of those 5 guys, one of them stepped forward, and it was Brian Gutekunst. And he said, I'm going to put this team on my back, and I'm going to do what needs to be done. And I'm going to do a really controversial move. It's going to either make or break my career. I'm going after this kid, Jordan Love. And he's seen enough, not only of Jordan Love, but also of Rodgers, to know it was time. It was time. And we are not heading in a way that this is probably going to work in a Brady kind of way. And that's exactly what happened. So as much as we had some good seasons, fast forward to today, I think we learned a lot about our team last year, an awful lot, and good, but mostly bad. And I have major concerns regarding our coaching staff, but also this is a whole new world to start over again. And it's just very interesting to see how this is going to look now versus the Holmgren era, coming in with Brett Favre, starting essentially new. And certainly the Rodgers switch over. So this is an interesting, and obviously the Jets with both Favre and Rodgers is crazy. So
I think Aaron Rodgers is a completely different analogy to Brett Favre, though. I don't think they're the same. I think Brett Favre was a quarterback. He was like, just put a team on the field, coach, and I'll just go huck it, chuck it. And Aaron
I do
Rodgers
love
has
Bucky
had
Chuck.
far more control and far more say in this organization, and really dictated a lot of what went on. I mean, not only by commanding the amount of salary that he did, never gave us a winning discount. Like, he saw what was working for the Patriots. He saw what was working for Tom Brady, but he was like, but I got to have my $60 million a year. And we gave
But
it to
also,
him.
if you look at the trends, there are two things, right? One, that's a pendulum swing, right? You have a dumb idiot dog of a quarterback as Brett Favre, and you want to go to some smart cat of Aaron Rodgers. Like, it's just a different change, different guy. But also look at the trends in the league at that point. Who are the top quarterbacks? Talking about Peyton Manning, same fucking story you just said. He is going to get all the money, and he's going to get all the control, and he's going to control every single part of the game. That was kind of the trend of what an elite quarterback is in his era. So I will give him, he was trying to be what good quarterbacks were. That being said, it's not, you're completely right. What it evolved to is us creating a bit of a monster that can hold a franchise, as hostage, to get leverage, to get anything he wants, or get the things he feels he needs or is deemed he should have, considering what he's done for our franchise. And I can kind of see all sides of it. And I'm not really here to trash Aaron Rodgers yet.
Yeah.
But I am here to kind of hopefully get some bearings for people that maybe just watched some games last year, didn't necessarily are somehow unable to follow the saga, and kind of want to get their hands wrapped around how we could have gotten here from a guy whose poster is on my wall, and I thought we all liked Aaron Rodgers, So but compared to the Matt Stafford situation last year, right, where he was traded, or was that 2 years ago? 2 years ago, when he was traded to the Rams, and they got 2 firsts and a second for Matt Stafford, who was very much over the hill and had a couple back surgeries. We have a healthy Aaron Rodgers. The expectation is that we should be getting fair compensation. I think that is what is holding this thing up from being finalized. But still, we are right on the cusp, folks. This is the moment. This is the last time that we are going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers as a Green Bay Packer.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is
So we
actually
retire his jersey in 4 years.
Yeah. So I there's just been a lot of things exposed in our coaching staff, and I can't really tell what the overall strategy. The Packers fan in me that thinks everyone's a genius, right? I don't want to believe they thought about this the whole time, and they're like, LaFleur, go out there and look like a real pussy all year, okay? And let Aaron Rodgers walk all over you, all right? And we're just gonna rope a dope and just kind of ride the middle, all right? And Jordan Love knows he's getting the ball next year, so you just got to keep him looking cool at the situation, and you're gonna miss the playoffs, right? Just because it's gonna make Rodgers look just that bad, and then we're gonna part ways, like, I want to believe it, but no, I don't know how we got here exactly, but we're here.
What's his legacy as a Packer? What do we feel right now? Because right now, I mean, I've gone through every emotion there is to go through this week. I have felt like a dumped ex-boyfriend. I have felt like a bitter ex-girlfriend. I have trashed him to all of our mutual friends, and then I've texted them all back apologizing like I didn't really mean it, and I regret everything.
100%.
Like, I've been all over the board because my legacy with Aaron Rodgers is the same struggle that he kind of put me through. It's ending the same way it's always been, which is like, he loves to have the attention. He doesn't mind toying with everybody, and he loves the suspense. How many contract re-signings have we gone through? And it's just like, and I'm like, oh, I hope we get him again. I hope we get him again. And if it means that we give him everything, that's fine. And it's just, and then we get him, and then he plays a season, and I'm like, damn it, you walk around like, like you're just coming up nothing but roses, but I'm not seeing the rings. Like, and it's just he has this incredibly high standard for himself about how he's one of the greatest. You know, he doesn't make mistakes, and he throws 4 interceptions over 4 years, and he's got all these like personal achievements. And yet, like, I don't.
Yeah,
like,
my dad
feel
straight up feels like he's a part of the fucking Illuminati, dude. He feel like, and we've all had Buddy on here, dude. Like, my dad has gotten so far into the rabbit hole in the last couple of weeks, and I don't mean to cut you off, but it's just, if we're gonna go all in, we got to go all in. Like,
What is his legacy?
and that's the question. Like, my dad's starting to think like, oh no, dude, like he did this all on purpose. This is all on purpose, bro. You think he just misses? I've seen him on YouTube in basketball arenas where he can throw from the top rafters into the fucking hoop. You think that guy misses in an NFC championship? No, bro. Tell me. Here's the thing, bro. He does that on purpose. Here, you like listen. Like, I don't like he's starting to lose it a little bit. Like, and this is what real Packer fans start to do when there's some uncertainty in general. You know what I'm saying? And I got to tell you, I'm starting to believe just about anything I hear, because like you said, Ty, and like you said, Tyson, and like you haven't said it all yet, Mayhew, is that I'm starting to believe anything I hear just so I can make sense of the craziness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to hear from the watcher over here. Mayhew, you just gotta. I want to hear what you have to say here. This guy's got. It looks like the Terminator. I got to know what's going on in your head, Aaron. Where are we at right now?
Look, it's mixed. It's mixed for me. It's a goddamn roller coaster day to day, if I'm being totally honest, because I can see every single perspective over the past. I mean, this guy's been with us for 18 years, right? You know, gets drafted. And he's got the chip on his shoulder, like falling all the way to like number 24, I want to believe. And then has to follow Brett Favre, where like fans are literally like fucking spitting in his face while he's on the practice field. And then 2-3 years later, wins the first Super Bowl. And I think everybody in this group thought there was going to be a chain of Super Bowls after that. My God. But then it didn't happen, much like it didn't happen for Brett Favre. And Tyson, like you said earlier, the coach, I think, was the biggest part of that. And as soon as we let it go, Holmgren, it quickly deteriorated, and then we kind of wasted some years. That's what I said earlier. We are riding this giant wave with Aaron Rodgers, and we fucking squashed the wave again, back to back. I don't know what happened in there. It's like poor management, coaching falling behind, bad draft picks. Like, we burned them. It's like, how did we have 2 quarterbacks of this caliber and only 2 Super Bowls? Okay, so soak that in, let it marinate. At the same time, Tyson calls him monster. It's a hard term for me. I don't know. I don't hate Aaron Rodgers. I just don't stand him. I don't. Tyson, you've talked about it too. It's like motivation is such a crazy thing. And I don't know what is going on inside this guy's head, except for if spite comes in, if he fucking gets shorted in some manner, he's like an assassin. But if he doesn't have that, he's just like another guy.
Yeah, no, he definitely feels like, as much as he wants to be like Captain Buddhist, he is entirely driven by ego. Like, he needs someone to attack his ego.
Absolutely.
That's what he's got. And it's negative too. It's not positive shit at all. It's not about lifting up or any of the bullshit he says. What it's about is scorching the fucking earth because somebody put on a fake belt, and that's my fucking dance. You know, somebody called me out or someone drafted a quarterback because they thought I was washed. So I'm going to show them how fucking good I am. You know, it's a personal goal. It's not about what I'm sorry. It typically, or is supposed to kind of be about, like, the glory of football, being a part of the greatness of Hall of Fame and team and sport, and over, like, just the value of that, like experiencing that, like being a part of that history, like that feels like every kid's dream. And that is the motivation for most people. That's why they don't see their family, which is their top priority. That's why they don't have time to see the birthday parties. Instead, they have to be playing football and giving it their everything. And it requires entirely focus. This guy doesn't even have any, he didn't have a wife, he doesn't talk to his family. He doesn't have these outside motivations or these outside support systems. He just has what he wants when he wants it. And that's that. And I feel like that is one way to live. It certainly is. But man, it is hard with us four fellers from the Midwest here to really like wrap our head around. And I got some friends out west. I get it, man. I like reggae. I dig it, but still, like I don't understand. I don't understand how you don't feel like you're being selfish the way you're approaching it. It seems like it's all internally motivated and internally driven. And I don't know. I guess you get the motivation how you get the motivation. It certainly feels like we just threw a pile of gasoline on a campfire that was almost out.
Well, Tyson, real quick. I mean, his words on the Pat McAfee show was the idea of like he went into,
which by the way, we've all seen, right? We all saw it. We've all seen it now.
I saw it.
90% leaning towards retirement. You know what I mean? And then coming out
Of the
like,
darkness.
as a front office, I don't know. I'm immediately the idea that he was considering it that strongly, and that he goes on a show and says it to like the entire world. As a front office, I mean, that's not the quarterback I'm looking for. You're no longer the killer that you once were, where like all you wanted to focus on was like football. And that's okay. A-Rod, he can do all these other things that he's passionate about. I encourage it. You know what I mean? If he wants to go to New York and he feels comfortable with that to end his career, he might even have a better chance of going further than he would with this team currently. And so I encourage it. As far as like how we've handled this entire situation, the blame is on both sides. So anybody out there listening is like, you want to take his side, you want to take their side. Your Rodgers got to go. It's like, oh, they treat him so poorly. Yeah, it's fucking all of that. It is not black and white. As much as this country loves making it that way, it's fucking gray, Tyson, right?
It's complicated. Nothing's easy, folks.
Love to just quickly talk about Jordan Love.
Yeah.
From my perspective, this guy.
That's good.
And look, every time I say this in my head, I'm like, why would he not do it? But he has been the utmost professional throughout this entire process of just being drafted in this same manner, that Aaron Rodgers did behind a Hall of Fame quarterback in the most controversial of times during COVID. I mean, all the fucking chips have been stacked against this guy from like day one, right? And I got so many people, like nobody is believing in this guy like whatsoever, or like even giving him a chance. And I'm not here to tell you that what are we trying to predict here? Like a third NFL, like Hall of Fame quarterback? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Fan base, get this out of your fucking head. The fact that we had back-to-back was almost impossible. A third one, almost illogical, but maybe he could be a serviceable quarterback. Don't you think? Drafted in the first round, they were fucking ecstatic about him. We've seen a couple of plays where, I'm sorry, you go back to Philly game last year. Anybody tell me that he wasn't throwing some big time fucking balls? Ty, right?
Yeah, I'm pumped about Jordan Love. I think, hey, just about anybody can handle the pressure better than Aaron Rodgers. I hope that Jordan Love has a little of that 2-minute pressure, game is on the line. Because you know what I've watched for the last forever is a guy who chokes. So I'm just excited to have somebody with some game. Look, Jordan Love, the physical is there. It's all there. It's fine. He's
the physical?
Yeah. The physical. The physical of
like
love.
What is the physical?
The physical of love. The physical of love. Man, I think I love that you're like all over with Aaron Rodgers too. You're like,
No,
you're like this choke piece of shit. I watched him suck.
I want to hear.
that's
I
just what I'm
want
saying.
to hear
That's
him
what I'm
talk
saying.
about
All
it.
right,
I want to hear
I'll
about the
tie
physical
Jordan
love.
I'll tie the
I wanna hear
Jordan
about
Love thing
physical
and the
love.
Aaron Rodgers thing into a more cohesive idea. The idea being, I'm excited for a new quarterback for the unknown. That's also what kind of terrifies me. But I'm excited to see a guy play the quarterback position a different way. Who doesn't, when he simply should have just run 3 yards and then when we get into the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, there's all that baggage and history with Rodgers, and I can't do another season of that. Like, he couldn't, the Packers couldn't, and I don't think the fans could. I think it was just, there's too much there where we're just, it's got to be different now. And so now, any possibility, Jordan Love might not be the answer. He might not play for the next 16 seasons and get deemed a Hall of Fame quarterback, even though he has exactly as many Super Bowl wins as Trent Dilfer, right?
Oof.
We walk around and we give Aaron Rodgers everything. We've given him the city, the state, the keys to the whole thing. And he's got as many Super Bowl wins as Trent Dilfer. So, I mean, he's a great quarterback. I'm glad to have had Aaron Rodgers, but I am definitely, I'm definitely done with it. And so when I do come off as kind of like crass or harsh or critical of Aaron Rodgers, part of that is I'm feeling just a little burned, but also, you know, I'm doing the best I can.
No, but I feel like you said it. You warned it. You're like, I am going through a bunch of emotions as if you just got dumped, and I just experienced it. Aaron, what were you gonna say?
I thought what he was touching on was a good tie-in to we're so quarterback focused at the moment, but the coaching I think is a huge aspect here. We're like, what are our expectations for me? Matt LaFleur now no longer has a Hall of Fame quarterback running his offense. Devontae Adams is gone. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like that was a huge basically reason that he was able to go like 13-3 like back-to-back seasons. I don't even know if like he was actually running his like particular offense. I think he gets into the fucking room. Aaron Rodgers like has the plays he wants to run. Even Nathaniel Hackett was like dictating things. And Matt LaFleur is like, yeah, no, that all sounds good. It sounds good. Points going up on the board. Fuck, I look smart as hell right now. Okay. And he doesn't have that accent, but that's like how I talk, like Matt LaFleur. But my point is that that's all gone now. Okay, boys, this year he has what Gutekunst thought was a special quarterback now worked within this offense for 3 years. Okay. And not the greatest talent pool necessarily. A lot of youth, and we'll see what comes out of this draft. But it is do or fucking die for Matt LaFleur. And I'm fucking so curious. I'm so curious. Like, your offense, you can do whatever you want now. Aaron Rodgers is in your face. No one's gonna push against you. But you also chose Joe Barry as your fucking defensive coordinator. Tyson
Matt LaFleur doesn't like
okay, I like
the
it.
office part, the interview part of the job. Matt LaFleur doesn't like the scouting combine. Matt LaFleur doesn't like tape. Matt LaFleur doesn't like the minutia of being a football coach. He doesn't like the long hours. Matt LaFleur is lazy. He's had many opportunities to go through and interview people. And I'm sure, I mean, when you have, there are only 32 defensive coordinator positions available in the whole wide world. There are a lot of people that would like to have that job. Matt LaFleur thinks that like the files come across his desk and he's like, no, I'm going to stick with my guy. It's not because he's loyal to Joe Barry. It's not because he thinks Joe Barry has just had a bad season and is going to shake the bugs out. It's because Matt LaFleur didn't want to have to go through the whole freaking process of bringing in another defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Mic drop.
Lazy.
Okay.
All right. I have a theory as well. I mean, it's pretty close to what you said, but maybe a little different.
Wait.
And
Let's hear it.
All right.
Actually different.
Here we go.
Insightful, but here we go. Yeah.
Okay, so Matt LaFleur is having an issue with not being able to control and make decisions in his own life. I'm guessing his wife chooses all the things at home too. He doesn't get a chance to. He spends all this time coming up with plays, and then Rodgers at the meeting after we already installed him while he
Right.
was not playing. It's like, yeah, we're not doing that. That's not happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of thing I'm going to do. And between the 4 years, I'm just going to throw it every single time. And that's how we're going to roll. And I looked at this team and I know how to win. And they're like, okay. Well, hey, thanks, Aaron. I love your input. That sounds great. So all right, we'll see you out there, guys. He's like, fuck. So I think that what he wants is a guy that he can feel comfortable controlling, or dare I say, even be a dick to. And I think that he feels comfortable with Joe Barry enough that he can. I think he kind of made him make some of those bad decisions this last year. I think that Joe Barry is like, okay. He's like Chad from Saturday Night Live. He's like, okay, whatever you tell him to do. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Oh, I was going to do that. What do you want to do? But
No,
I'd
it's
say
leverage. It's leverage, and Matt LaFleur has never had any leverage over anyone.
No, he needs it
Joe
now.
Barry.
If he's
The
going to
only
make
person Matt LaFleur has leverage on is Joe Barry.
and we've experienced it last year. Joe Barry went into a failing scenario and did what his boss told him. And there's not another guy on the goddamn team that had any power that was like, fuck that, we're not running that play. We're doing this instead. I just think that this situation is that he feels like he can control the scenario when you have Jordan Love. He's done 3 off seasons with our program, installing plays that we have probably never seen because Rodgers wouldn't play them. Maybe he did. I don't know. But all I know is that he has a full grasp and understanding of this playbook, and he has spent more time with LaFleur as he's been coming up with these ideas and presenting them. They should have a pretty tight relationship, considering Rodgers probably doesn't want the coaching much. So I think that and he was fine with that scenario. It seemed like that was what they were doing. So I feel like this is his opportunity to show what he would actually do if he had everyone running his plays. And I think Jordan Love is probably going to do what he's told. And I think he's also going to play confident, but safe and in a way that he's going to build. I don't expect him to. I hope he can go out and make big plays and make those crazy rolling right across the middle, throw into double coverage, and then it's a touchdown kind of shit. But I don't want him trying that. I don't want to see that when we have designed plays that there should be guys wide open. I just want to see him executing the plays in time, crisp. As a fucking Bollywood dancer, I want to see him crisp. Chaz, you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about screwing in a light bulb,
Yes,
and
bam.
on top of that, we got to talk about just a couple of things, just a couple, real quick, and you guys can spin off into wherever we want to go. But as far as current news for the Green Bay Packers, obviously Rudy Ford, he has been re-signed. We've got Tavarius Moore coming in. We've got Dean Lowry signing with the Vikings.
Really?
Bob Tanyan is going to Chicago because you know how much everyone in our division picks up our scraps. We've got Aaron going to the Jets. Yeah, sure. We've got Josh Nijman. Signed, sure, whatever. Jerron Reed to the Seahawks. Alan Lazard is going away.
Did we sign Josh Nijman, or is he sold, or did he get traded?
He signed. The news I've got is Packers signed Josh Nijman to 2nd round tender.
Okay, yeah. So what we have is we have him a 2nd round tender, but another team could come in still and say, "I'll give you a 2nd rounder for Josh Nijman," and we're like, okay.
And those are just the biggies. Those are just the biggie boys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on.
The Tavarius Moore signing is a big deal because Adrian Amos doesn't have the legs.
He's gone.
Safety
But,
after tight
wait,
end.
real quick, before we finish.
No, hold on. No, Ty. Tavarius Moore? Like, are you a huge fan?
No, I'm not. I'm a huge fan of
Here we go.
49ers
Here we go.
What do
defense.
you know about
I don't know if you watched the 49ers defense last year, but they were only scary as hell. And I don't know how big a role he played in that, but
I think he kept the benches sparkling clean.
that's great. That's fine. I'll take that.
I mean, they were really
You guys
nice.
really think that Rudy Ford is the answer at safety? I'll take anything at safety. I mean, we're obviously not going to like hit big and free agency because that's thin. The draft is also incredibly thin. And I'm just trying to be excited about somebody more than Rudy Ford. Or the fact that
Rudy Ford. Now take it easy.
Or for the fact that for the second straight year in a row, we've restructured Rasul Douglas's contract to be what he's actually worth. They gave him this huge thing last year, like he was like a top 3 corner. And then like, oh, by the way, Rasul, you're going to be something on our team. I think that there's just like, there's no bright spot in that secondary or there's no improvement in that secondary if it doesn't come from personnel. Improvement in that secondary is not going to come from coaching. It's not going to come from scheme. There's got to be some stunners. I feel good about our linebacking core, and I really don't hate what we have going on the D-line either. They're young and unproven, but I think that the D-line can come up with what they need to do. I think the big question is safety, and I'll take anybody off of a team that was better than us last year. So, yeah, I'm a little excited about more.
No,
Only
fine.
in that I mean, what? He's got some age, he's some veteran leadership on him. But we're going to have to sign big in the safety position, and it's just not there.
When
Were
you
there
say,
any more
I'm gonna
roster
pass this
moves,
to
or is
you-
that it? Is that the end of the roster moves?
Nixon. Keyshawn Nixon was
I was gonna say
re-signed.
Keyshawn
That's a
Nixon
big deal.
is the next big
That's a
one.
big deal.
But
No, because the Packers are hemorrhaging right now. We might not re-sign Barnes.
The next big
hemorrhaging.
one. It's like the only important fucking signing we made.
Right.
Chad.
right,
Yeah,
right.
Fucking long
I
snapper and Keyshawn Nixon. That's what
I
we
didn't
got
want to
going
cut
for
off
us.
Ty. I
We're
really didn't want to cut off Ty.
hemorrhaging players
Right,
left and
this
right.
Boys, I
Gotta
was
be.
seriously worried that we were going to somehow let that guy slip away. He literally turned our season around special teams wise, like single-handedly. Talked about wanting to be a receiver. Tyson,
Right.
I know you touched on
No.
that. You know,
Dude,
but
I think he's
That's
I
not a
think he's
small
got
signing.
he's got a lot of potential. And the other thing is that was a big fucking contract, guys. That's like $7 million or something for 1 year. That's not
6.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a big contract for a special teams player.
it
Well,
really
I think
fucking is.
guys, I think we're starting this guy. I think that's our starting safety. I must say that. And he didn't do anything as a starter that makes me be like, no. All he
6
did
million.
is try and make
6 million.
plays. That's what you pay that's what you pay a free agent pickup safety.
But
So I
for
wouldn't
1
be
year.
surprised if they're going to start him because guys, he might be a
Absolutely.
playmaker. He might
He's
be a
an
playmaker.
athlete. Yeah, he's an athlete. He's one of those well-rounded athletes. You can put him at any position. If you handed him the ball, he'd figure out what to do.
I want to propose an activity. All right. So we're gonna rank in reverse order. Who is the least important person going into this next year's draft that we need to, the Packers should be addressing? Okay. So, like for instance, it's probably punter and kicker. Like it's just not a priority, right? I think we all
No, it
know.
is. It is.
Oh my god.
Mason
It's not gonna work.
stand. Mason can finally retire now that
We're
Aaron
not gonna
Rodgers is
draft.
going to New York. Mason was like, "Do I also have to go to New York?" And Aaron was like, "No." And then Mason was like, "So I can finally retire like I've always wanted to for the last 5 seasons." And Aaron Rodgers gave him permission. So we're definitely going to need to take one of these compensatory picks that we're getting from hemorrhaging all of our players, and we're definitely going to need a kicker. That's a major area of need.
Aaron, what are you gonna say?
I actually, in this instance, completely agree with Ty. Where
Get
I
the
think a
fuck out of
kicker,
here.
like who's the best kicker in college right now? If we can take him in the 7th round, we do need to move on, and we don't have anything else.
Oh
We
my
got
god.
compensatory picks up the yin yang. We got a 5th rounder for Lazard.
We got
We're getting
3 7ths. Like, yeah, Ty, I'm right there with you.
take
Who's
one of
your
those
kicker?
and get us.
Who's your favorite kicker
Bama,
coming out
who do
this
you
year,
like?
Ty?
Who do you like
Oh
for
my
kicker?
god. You guys are scouting kickers.
Yeah,
We're taking a fucking
You know who
left.
we don't need, Tyson? Tyson's looking for what we don't need. You know what we don't need? Running backs. We've got 2 of the best running backs in
Yeah,
the league.
Or
These guys
quarterbacks.
are
How about
awesome.
that?
We
don't
don't need
need
a
a
running
quarterback.
back.
Real quick
We
though, I
don't
gotta
need-
stop you. Let's just say that the top running back, this motherfucker,
in your mic, Mayhew. In your mic.
Bijan Robinson. Okay, this guy is fucking a difference maker. If he just like falls to 15, are you are you screaming at the TV? if like Gutekunst just pulls the trigger, dude, this guy watches tape. It is like Saquon Barkley and fucking Christian McCaffrey, and he has zero offensive line. This guy's running for his life every fucking play, and he is like a wizard. And so you spend the 15th overall pick for a 4-year contract because I'm not going to sign him to a second contract.
We might have to run the ball a lot. I'll take that, actually.
I'm going to go ahead and say defensive tackle. It would usually be like you want to get bigs, but in this scenario, I don't feel like defensive tackle is as high of a priority considering we just got we have Slayton, we have Kenny Clark, we have Wyatt. That all. I mean, they're ends that can rotate in, but all those guys could play nose tackle. So
we may go Dean Lowry play for some division rival because they just take our trash.
What they do. I also would say probably middle linebacker is kind of covered, right? We got Campbell locked up for at least another 2 years, and then we got Walker. There's no reason we'd be going big in middle linebacker.
Barnes wants Barnes on linebackers. Barnes wants out. But Preston Smith is going to be determined to have hit the best season of his life next year.
So I think it's possible to get Quay Walker's agent on this show and just be like, hey, man, we're just like curious. Okay. It seemed like he really fucking lost his shit. Split second.
What's up with that?
Somebody touched my shoulder. I'll fucking murder you.
Wait, Tyson, say it again. How does it?
What's up with that? Yeah, what's up with that?
What's up with that?
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know what's going on with Quay Walker, but I don't know.
No, here's the thing with Quay.
Aggression it matures into Ray Lewis or something because
here's the thing with Quay. When you don't do right by Quay, he doesn't say anything about it. He just sends you a squirrel in a box that he killed with a knife. Right? Like that's just how you know you wronged Quay.
We just want to say thanks for stopping in at 2D and a C. We'll be right back.
The mute button.
You got to unmute because
you got to unmute button.
Because Chaz got in there, got inside your computer.
I got in there, bro.
He hacked the firewall.
He was like, "Oh no, Ty's telling the truth. I got to hit the panic button."
But then I couldn't undo it.
You just hit the mute button, and you're back.
Yeah.
Bingo, motherfucker! You're back, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron Mayhew.
We still have an Austin team.
No, okay, all right. Team.
We're just minus one Hall of Fame quarterback who arguably is really only in the Hall of Fame from the prestige that he created around himself. You know,
Ty, I disagree fucking so much. Okay, for me, guys, it's like Aaron Rodgers. Talk of the town right now, you know? I think we're fucked. Like for a while.
Oh, shit.
And like Vegas does too. Do you guys know that like right now we are actually, as far as Vegas is concerned, like the bottom of the NFC North. That means Jared Goff.
I'm not a Raiders fan.
Justin Fields. And whatever the fuck is coming out of like Minnesota, maybe like the odd shift here if they move on. Kirk Cousins, I've heard some shit. Like maybe they don't want to go down that road no more. Point being, there's a lot of uncertainty, okay? But I actually believe in what this team is trying to do. A lot of people don't. It's all about Aaron Rodgers. I don't care. Like if you just like literally separate that noise out and you look at this team that I think is trying to accomplish a certain something. And I know I ripped on I'm going to continue to rip on Matt LaFleur until he fucking proves me wrong. Prove me wrong, Matt.
Or is fired.
Take this situation, which is so overly complex, and put an offense on the field that can put up more than fucking 24 points a game. I'm talking let's put some points on the board. Jordan Love, you out there listening? I know he listens to this pod. Same thing. Now, defense. I feel so bad for everybody on this squad that we've signed because Joe Barry is your coordinator. Maybe he might even just like kind of sit in the background and be like, look, you just do what you want to do, guys. Right?
That sounds like that's the story.
Maybe I don't even need to be here. And they're like, coach, yeah, maybe that's best for everybody. You know, it's like fucking get out there then. God damn it. few of you are getting paid way too much fucking money, and I'm not seeing the results. Okay.
I think Joe Barry, hold on. Joe Barry sucks. We hate him and we wish he was somebody else. But remember when he showed like 5 minutes of being qualified? Jair had those 3 games in a row where he had those picks. And we were like, whoa, did he just stop playing cover 2 on 3rd and 1? Like, does Joe Barry finally get it? And he kind of did. And I think that us holding his feet to the fire might be the best thing for Joe Barry. I think he's got a lot to prove. And it's do or die for him. And LaFleur has hitched himself to Barry. So it's do or die for him too. And we just got to hold them accountable, boys, because they really do fear the blowback. And Joe Barry will improve or be banished for life. It's really simple. So he's got to bring what worked best. When he looks at last season and what worked best, maybe we utilize this talent in the right way. I gotta believe.
Guys, in the last 5 to 10 that we're gonna do, I want to hear Tyson. I know you got something you want to line up. I want to hear what you're thinking.
Okay, so I just feel like there's. Oh, damn it! I don't remember what I was gonna say. I was ready to go, but then you talked in between. I don't remember.
Good. You got this, bud. You're
Killing
a champion. You're a champion,
Oh, that
and
helps.
you're gonna say some things. You're a
You're gonna
champion.
fuck it up.
You're a champion,
Fuck it up.
and you're gonna.
Yeah,
Joe Barry.
Joe Barry. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, buddy.
That's great. That's great.
2D and a C uncut
In the
special
dark.
edition.
Out of the dark. Out of the dark.
Yeah, out of the
Alright.
darkness.
Finally, you get to see all the cracks. All right, so Joe Barry, all this whole situation here, these guys' fucking backs are against the wall. There's a knife to their fucking throat. This is it. If Matt LaFleur thinks he's going to be able to walk out there with Jordan Love and finish as the stinker in the division, and he has a job, that's not happening. So we cannot even finish. We need to finish at least like doing well enough, right? Or else I think this is his last year. So their back is against the wall. This is what he's been setting up for since they drafted him, which he looked awfully happy about. When you saw Jordan Love do well in the Eagles game, Matt LaFleur looked 10 times happier about it than Jordan Love. It was kind of uncomfortable how excited the quarterback or the coach got when our backup quarterback came in and did his job, you know? So I feel like there's a lot riding on this for a lot of guys on this team, but most importantly, the coaching staff. So they have to fucking perform this next year. And I don't know how. I'm curious to see what it would look like to have LaFleur try to win back a locker room. Is he going to use Rodgers as a, like, remember when that other guy did that? We're not doing it that way. You know, like, is it going to be that, or how's it going to run? You know, it's very interesting. But one thing is for sure, they don't have a lot of room for failure. And so I don't expect us to like win a Super Bowl or even get to the playoffs maybe, but I do expect this team's strategies and scheme, and it should work. You know, we should be able to execute and get points and have a good offense. And our defense should be better than last year for the majority of the year, because the defense was pretty bad most of the year, even though the whole league suffered from bad defense. So really it's a bad year statistically for everybody. Can I get back to my little exercise? What do you think about defensive end here? You know, where are we on defensive end, guys? Is that our top priority? Because here's what's left: defensive end, center, wide receiver, guard, tight end, left tackle, and outside linebacker. I feel those are all highest priority.
If you love 2D and a C off season, you're going to love 2D and a C draft day spectacular. It's amazing. Can't wait to bring it to you. We're wrapping up the free agency. Aaron Rodgers.
Who?
Right. We'll never forget you, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Thanks for
Aaron
everything.
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Are we on to the Rodgers? Do we have to go back and talk about Rodgers more? Is that where we're at right now? Because this is it, right?
That's where we're at. We're
All right.
final feelings on Aaron Rodgers.
Oh man, it's a big one. Okay, I'll go first. I feel like Aaron Rodgers, man, thank you so much for playing as hard as you did and competing and getting us such exciting football. He's also a guy who performs well with his back against the wall, third down fucking quarterback for the majority of his career. He was clutch. I liked it in the first half of his career anyway. I appreciated what he did for our team when he did it, but I also feel like there's no way for us to find happiness together. And if that's what's important to him, his top priority is his feelings. And if that's where we're at, we can't proceed in any way, regardless of money and compensation, that is going to make this feel any better, make his career have any real purpose. So I applaud your efforts and I appreciate your service, sir. And I wish you an amazing comeback here at the Jets. I would love to see him succeed. I mean, that's the curiosity, right? If it worked for Brady, if Brady could come in, say, I want $50 million. I want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Go get me Julio Jones. Get me that. And they're like, yes, sir, Mr. Brady. And did you want sugar with your coffee? Or, so like, I feel like if he can do that, Rodgers is like, well, then I can do that. And what would happen in that scenario? Aren't you curious? Because the Packers never were willing to have that conversation. So I'm curious if the Jets do it, how would that work? What would that look like? Is it going to succeed, or is Aaron Rodgers the issue? We're going to find out if we can properly get what he's worth. And I hope the Packers play hardball. I, for one, hope they play hardball as long as it takes to get some serious compensation back in this trade. I don't care.
What's your reasoning, Tyson? Hardball, don't you feel like
I want 2 ones in a second? I want two firsts in a second. That's what you got for Matt Stafford. Aaron Rodgers today is a better quarterback than Matt Stafford today, and he has less injuries, and he's been the media darling and everyone's obsession for so long. There's value in that trash too. So this guy has money signs all around him. He's worth.
I got a quick little send off I got to give to Aaron Rodgers. All right. He's been a head case. He's been a problem. He's been all these things, right? But I really do want to thank him for the fun times. I want to thank him for being the number 1 NFC North contender year in, year out. We were the team to beat, and we won. I have a lot to thank Aaron Rodgers for. Mostly just the fun. He was at his best when he was putting on the belt, when he was trying to do a Lambeau leap but needed help from the fans, when he was bothering Brett Favre to no end in his first 3 years. And we're like, get off Brett Favre. Leave him alone, you little puppy. He was learning how to hand the ball off and fake the throw. He did give us some fun times. He gave us a Super Bowl win. That was a lot of fun. There's a lot of good things that Aaron Rodgers did, and I just don't want to forget any of them. All the playoff runs. I mean, we had great times, and I'm gonna miss him, and I hope he does well. But if it comes to match up against the Packers, I hope we stun them, and that's it.
God, that was the most insincere tribute to Aaron Rodgers I've ever heard. But it was expected, honestly.
I appreciated the football parties that you contributed to me going to.
And those other things that you were as good as Trent Dilfer.
Cancer, not a big deal,
We hope you enjoyed the Out of the Darkness special episode here from Two Dads and a Chaz. And make sure you stay tuned for our special episode coming up in late April for, you guessed it, the NFL Draft. Go Pack Go.
Break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We're gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air condition, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads and a chance, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads and a chance, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides them rings and putting trophies on the wall. Trophies, y'all. Two dads and a chance is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.